Introduced all the way back in Chapter 50, Yuki is one of the 4 special-grade sorcerers who is mainly known for 2 different things. The first being her fight against Kenjaku, which, unfortunately, was her only fight shown, and the second being her massive mass. Yuki is definitely one of the most enjoyable characters in the manga, and the fandom likes her a lot, but the common consensus within the community is that she's wasted potential. Most people just water down her character to being a therapist for Choso, and then really just dying, but there's clearly more to her character. Unfortunately though, not enough. We get her first proper introduction in Chapter 77 of the manga, with Geto and Haibara. Of course she begins by asking Geto's type, a question Geto ignores. He does call her out for being a bum who doesn't do any missions, but we get to know that the reason for that is because Yuki's not interested in treating the symptoms. There are 2 ways of creating a curse-free world. Either all of humanity loses their cursed energy, or they learn to control their cursed energy. Yuki is interested in treating the cause, that being eradicating cursed energy. The 2 of them talk about Toji and all that, but the important takeaway from this chapter was how she kind of drove Geto to his motives. I mean, she did say that killing all humans is a decent plan, but also said she's not crazy enough to do it. Kinda like that one friend who gives you the worst possible advice at your lowest. Anyways, she goes on to train Todo, but we never actually see how or why or when she ever actually taught him anything. There's almost 0 screen time between the 2 of them, which is kind of disappointing, but it's not important enough to the point you can consider it as an actual critique. The next time we see her again properly is in Chapter 136, where she saves the good guys from Kenjaku and Yurume. It's in this chapter where we see Yuki's and Kenjaku's ideals clash. Yuki believes that the next stage of humanity lies in breaking away from cursed energy. Kenjaku contests this, saying that it lies in optimizing cursed energy. The more and more Kenjaku starts expressing his ideas, the more Yuki starts to disagree with him. After all, they both have different objectives, so it's only plausible that their methods are actually different. Kenjaku does go on to release Mahito's technique and break the seals on cursed objects that he placed, and that's where the Shibuya arc ends. From this point on, Yuki is given normal screen time just like all other side characters, and her character is being built up to be pretty good. She's got a great character concept. She's a special grade, which means she's a top tier in the verse. She's silly, and the fans already love her. And on top of that, she's going to fight Kenjaku, one of the 2 main antagonists of the series. Keep in mind that she still doesn't have a lot of screen time. Her presence, regardless of impact, is still minimal. But you would think that because she's being built up to be such a great character, she's definitely going to add a lot more to the story, right? Well, Chapter 204. Yuki enters the fight against Kenjaku with a great entrance. She sent Kenjaku flying away with a single punch. Their fight has just started, and it's already looking to be great. We get to know her technique is Star Rage, which basically allows her to have virtual mass to her liking. As Kenjaku said, she quite literally defies concepts. "Can I take down this beast myself?" are the words Kenjaku thought of the moment he realized the timing Yuki was on. She's so strong that the literal Aizen of the series is doubtful of himself on whether or not he can beat this beauty. Surely she'll go extreme diff with Kenjaku and make it out of this alive, right? No, she just dies 3 chapters later. Okay, I explained it like she just got no diffed. The fight was good, don't get me wrong, and she did kind of give Kenjaku some difficulty. There were even raw moments, like in here when Kenjaku was annoyed asking Yuki to heal herself, and Yuki's response is just, hell no. But these raw moments aside, when you sit and think about how she literally had to pull out a black hole in an attempt to win, and still lost because Kenjaku just countered it with his anti-gravity, the conclusion becomes sort of lame. She died in her first and only fight, and for someone who had so much hype being created around them, it's only fair that the community is disappointed with it. But it's not Gege's fault. You see, the hype around Yuki was built by the fandom itself, me and you. We ourselves were expecting Yuki to play a major part in the story, but Gege just had other plans. She acted as catalyst for Geto. She saved Choso and helped him become human. And her soul research did help the anti-Sukuna squad in the final battle. For a character that's barely been present for the first half of the story, this isn't bad at all. In fact, her impact was so huge on the story despite her minimal screen time, that I think that her character was written decently. Now, could Gege have done a lot more with Yuki? Absolutely. But I don't think it's fair to say that Gege tossed aside Yuki and didn't do her justice. I think that we feel this disappointment from Yuki because of how she was introduced, to be a special grade. The main issue? We didn't get a good showcase of Yuki's skill set. We didn't see her domain, and she couldn't even push Kenjaku to extreme difficulty in a fight. Narratively speaking, Yuki fulfilled her role, and personally, I don't think she's a 10 out of 10 characters or anything. I think she's a pretty enjoyable character with surface-level writing, and that's fine. Now, if you think that Yuki did not live up to the hype, and that you simply don't like how she was written, I don't blame you. But all I'm trying to say is that even though she did not completely live up to what she could have, she's still an important element of the story, and she played her part in it.